A trip while fishing turned into pure terror. I had planned the trip as a break. I live in Córdoba, Argentina, and I really enjoy fishing. Some friends recommended that I fish in Salta, near the town of Orán, by a river there. They said they had gone themselves, but they warned me not to go alone. Salta, they told me, is a very deceptive place. Even the eyes get fooled, they said, and they claimed supernatural things appear there, from sirens to gigantic fish and many other horrors. I decided to go with 5 friends. The moment we arrived in Orán, the locals could tell we weren't from the area. They kept asking what we were doing there. We told them it was just a fishing trip. Then they would warn us with the same advice. Never move through the forest at night, because you'll get scared to death, and never sleep in separate tents. They said that when other people who came to fish slept separately, later they would hear one friend calling for help from the forest. The others would follow, and a few days later, those people would come back completely insane. We thought they were just telling stories to frighten outsiders. But wherever we went to buy supplies, the advice always came with a new story. The one that surprised me most was an old man selling bait for our fishing rods. He told us not to enter the rivers alone, because lampalaguas live there. He described them as big, venomous snakes, but dangerous all the same. The old man said he once saw one so large it must have been around 17 meters. What was strange, he said, was that it was covered in hair and had antenna-like things on its head, like a worm. Then he told us, that isn't an animal. It's a worm from hell. I thanked him for the warning. In the end, my friends and I decided to go to the Santa María River. It was about 3 hours from Orán. According to what we heard, indigenous people lived there, but we were told they were very kind. So we rented 3 motorcycles because there were 6 of us: Lucas, Facundo, Emmanuel, Marcos, Agustin, and me. Each bike would carry 2 people. We left at 8 in the morning. Right away we realized the whole way was dirt road. As soon as we got into it, we lost sight of the small town. After about an hour, the road was nothing but curves, and both sides were covered in dense forest. Around an hour and a half in, we entered a stretch lined with sugarcane. We reached the area after about 2 hours. We stopped so the motorcycles could cool down. While we waited, we looked at the landscape, took some photos, and sat by the side of the road. Lucas took out a bottle of whiskey from his backpack, and we drank a little and laughed about the stories the locals had told us. Suddenly Marcos asked, "Did you hear that?" We all replied, "Hear what?" He said, "Listen." Then I heard a dog crying. It sounded like a puppy. I stood up and told them, "Let's go check." All my friends laughed. They said, "You're crazy. Go ahead if you want." I stood there anyway and decided to investigate. The sound was coming from the forest. I walked deeper until the crying got louder and louder. I started to doubt myself. Should I keep going? But I didn't want to look like a coward, so I went to the very end. I climbed a small hill. I knew the descent was where the little animal would be. When I was going down, I saw the head of a small puppy. I shouted for my friends to come quickly. They ran over and asked what I had found. I showed them. And what we saw shocked us. There was a square table made of rocks, with something like chairs around it. The puppy was buried up to about halfway of its body. Around it were flowers and candles. My first instinct was to pull the poor animal out. It was obvious it was starving and had been there for days. But when I tried to touch it, Agustin yelled, "Don't touch it. Are you sure you want to take it out? We're in the middle of nowhere," he said. "Do you really think this dog just fell in here? This is witchcraft. I swear that the person who put this curse is suffering, and until that puppy dies, they'll die too. If you pull it out, the curse will pass to you." I panicked and ran away from the place. My friends followed me, and we kept going. We still had a bit of road left, but none of us wanted to touch that matter again. We were all terrified. After about an hour, We arrived and set up our tents before night fully fell. We lit a fire. When everything was ready and we thought we could finally rest, we went fishing. We caught a couple of fish. Then, just for fun, we kept catching more and throwing them back into the river. Then Lucas said suddenly, "This is too quiet. Someone is watching us." We all scanned the area, searching for anyone. Marcos grabbed some stones and threw them toward the forest. At the exact same moment, stones came flying back toward us. They almost hit Marcos. He ran toward the forest to confront whoever was throwing the stones. According to him, he thought it must be a person, but he found nobody. What he did find was a cross with a cloth doll pinned with needles. That was enough for that day. We cooked the fish we had caught and went to sleep, everyone in the same tent, together. Hours passed. You could hear nighttime animals, crickets and frogs, each with their sounds. Then suddenly everything stopped. Complete silence. We must have fallen asleep around 3 in the morning. I woke up because I was cold. I saw that Facundo was awake, looking through the transparent side of the tent. He turned to me and told me how wonderful the field was, how it kept surprising him. He said things like, "Look at those eyes, small and big at the same time. What do you think they are?" I looked outside too. Then I woke everyone. I told them, "Look. What animals are these?" They all stared at the same spot, meaning all of us were being stared at. Panic hit us. We started praying. Dawn came, and those eyes never blinked once. We wanted to leave immediately. Augustine said, "That's it. Fishing is over. It's time to go home." We packed our things and carried them back to the motorcycles. When Augustine took his bike, he realized the tire was punctured. So we decided to wait and see if someone would pass by so we could ask for help. We waited until about 6 in the evening. By around 7:30 it was getting dark. It was time to go. Emmanuel was the youngest and the lightest among us, so we decided he would ride the bike with the punctured tire. Nobody wanted to stay another night in that cursed place. Since Emmanuel would have to move slowly, we told him to go ahead while we arranged our things and followed. He left. We argued for a while about who would ride with who. Then we realized about 30 minutes had already passed and we hadn't caught up with Emmanuel. We tried to find him, but we kept searching and searching. It felt like almost 2 hours went by with him nowhere on the road. The worst part was that night was getting darker and darker. We decided to turn back and look for him for at least half an hour, but there was no sign of him anywhere. We were terrified. The only thing we could do was go back to the city and return in a van to search for him properly. About an hour before reaching the city, suddenly we saw Emmanuel. He was walking along the side of the road, pushing the motorcycle with the lights off. We asked him why he was walking in the dark and why he wasn't even using a flashlight. He seemed completely out of it. It was like he had no awareness. I told Augustine to start the motorcycle, and I told Emmanuel to get on behind me. Augustine started the bike and we drove off. Throughout the whole ride, Emmanuel didn't say a word. When we got to the hotel, that's when he finally started talking. He said only, "Thank you for leaving me alone." I replied, "You left. The plan was for you to wait, or at least go slowly and we would come look for you non-stop." He said, "I went slowly, but I never saw you. When I reached the place where we found the puppy, the motorcycle died. I tried to start it, but it wouldn't go." Then he said that from the side of the road, a giant dog appeared. It was enormous. It stepped in front and then went into the field. I told him I started walking while pushing the motorcycle, and he explained that he felt something behind him, something that made him terrified. He didn't want to look back. At night, he got back on the motorcycle and tried to start it. It turned on, then he waited for us to appear, and nothing happened. Then the motorcycle's lights went out again. He felt something jump onto the front of the bike. The lights went off, and he had to start it again. It would go a little, then it would happen again. The light would shut off. Then there was immense darkness. He felt something running alongside him and jumping in front of the motorcycle, and it would cut out. Finally, he decided to get off and just walk, praying, "Whatever God wants," he said, until he saw the rest of you. He said that all the way there he kept praying until we finally appeared. We were all terrified when we heard everything. After that night, nobody even wanted to sleep again. We only wanted to leave. My friend was so scared that the moment he got back to Córdoba, he went to church, and that's where he is now. The others don't talk about what happened. I'm the only one who has the courage to tell the story of that fishing day.